Hey everybody, welcome to a pretty special test we've got for you here at Cycle News. Below me is the new and redesigned Moto Guzzi V7. Now the V7 is a very special bike for Moto Guzzi. The first machine rolled off the production line way back in 1967. Now it hasn't been a continuous evolution, I guess, of that model. Like there has been starts and stops in the production, but all of them have come off the production line in the beautiful area of Lake Como in northern Italy. And incidentally, March 15 of this year marked 100 years of the Moto Guzzi motorcycle company. Pretty cool when you consider the longevity and all the bikes and different things that have come out of that factory back to the V8 500 cc's, you know, all these legendary bikes, and great to see these bikes are still going. There are three versions that you can get with your new V7s. Now for $8,990, you're going to be able to get the Stone, which is beneath me. The Stone is resplendent in the same kind of color scheme that the Moto Guzzi V8 came out in back in the 50s, I think it was. For an extra $200, you're going to be able to get the 100th anniversary edition. And for another $300, so for $9,490, you're going to be able to get the special version. Now that comes with lots of chrome, you know, spoked wheels, chrome dash, dual analog tacho, bits and pieces, different seat, things like that. For 2021, the engine has grown from 750 cc's up to 853 cc's. Now that has given you guys an extra 20% horsepower. That means 65 horsepower and 53 pounds-feet of torque. So Moto Guzzi have kind of gone through the bike and redesigned a lot of the internal parts just to try and reduce the rocking that you get with this transverse twin. Now that is an absolute Guzzi characteristic. When you give the throttle a little bit of a roll, the bike will roll to one side, very much like a flat twin, like a BMW flat twin. But if you've ever ridden a bike like a Grezzo or something like that, you'll know that when you get on that throttle, the bike properly tilts over. This one is much nicer. This one is a lot more easy, more forgiving. The throttle response is very nice. Now interestingly, you've got the power comes in two waves. You know, up until 3,000 RPM, there really isn't much there. Then you sort of peak in from 3 to 6,000 RPM, it's pretty good. And then it sort of tapers off a little bit and then comes in a little bit more, about 6.5, and then that's it. So you really want to be focusing around your 3 to 6,000 RPM range. That will give you the best performance. 6-speed, 6 gear is basically an overdrive with this. I very rarely touch 6 gear during the time that I was riding. Made for very comfortable when you did, because the revs drop right down in like 2,500 RPM. The 853cc transverse V-twin is barely ticking over at that point. Just The bike is pretty devoid of electronics. You've got 2-stage traction control and ABS, and that's it. You don't have variable ride modes, which is really nice. You know, you don't have to mess around with any of that stuff. You just get on the thing and go. I put the thing in level 1 traction control and left it there. You can switch traction control off if you want, but I don't really know why you would want to. It doesn't really have the power to almost warrant traction control at all, but it's nice. It's a nice feature that it does have it. The suspension is provided by Kayaba, an unadjustable front suspension, and you only get preload on the rear. So look, this isn't a performance bike, as it were. The good thing about this bike, and this is like I'll sort of stop throwing specs at you and just tell you a little bit more. Like, the ride with this thing is what matters. I just came off riding the Suzuki Hayabusa yesterday, which is just all about speed and go and power and everything. And jumping on this, it's a refreshing bike. It's just a nice, easy kick back a gear and just roll. It's kind of reminds me a lot of what motorcycling is all about, to be honest. In fact, my very first bike was a Yamaha my first street bike at least was a Yamaha SRV 250, and this is very much like an SRV 250, to be honest. It's not that different. So just hopping on this, it gives you a bit of a thrill, you know. It gives you that sort of calm joy that we love about motorcycling. It's pretty sort of laid back. It's a really easy bike to ride. Brakes are good. They're nothing to write home about, but they'll do the job just fine. And if you go into it with the mindset of just a stress relief in a way, this thing will serve you really, really well. I'll show you quickly the ride position as well. So I'm 6'1", beautiful, like perfect. You know, we rode pretty much most of the day. And this seat's lovely, really nice and comfy seat. It's a really enjoyable little bike. And for under 10 grand as well. So you're buying, this is the thing when you buy a Guzzi, you buy character with a Guzzi. You don't, you sort of, it's a bit like a Harley-Davidson in a way, you know. They're their own they subscribe to their own church, the Guzzi riders, and they're really, really fun things to ride. You're going to be a different rider when you get out there and ride a Guzzi and just enjoy the ride for what it is. So yeah, really cool bike, and great to see. 100 years, man. That deserves a golf clap. That's super cool. There's so many motorcycle manufacturers that have come and gone in that time, and these guys are still kicking on from one of the most beautiful areas in the world, in Lake Como, I might add. But yeah, really, really cool bike for this thing. Anyway, guys, this was just a really quick wrap of this bike. You know, we did our bit of a ride. It's not a long-term test, but just to give you a bit of an idea of what this thing is like to ride. I hope you've liked it. If you have, give us one of these ones. If you haven't, give us one of those ones. And yeah, give us a like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, and we'll see you again soon here at Cycle News. Cheers.